idea why my computer is deciding to say, oh hey, your sound's all fucked up, but last video I did was completely fine. Anyway, uh, aside from the rain and hail outside that just, I don't know, the weather's driving me bonkers. 1 minute is thunder and lightning, the next thing you know it's hailing and raining. And then trying to snow at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, this video is something that I am hoping to obtain some closure with. Um, there was somebody who used to be my very best friend in the entire world. Stupidly, I had a crush on her. Um, Even now, I do still have feelings for her, but that's never going to change. She's technically my first love, and being stuck on it for 10 years? Yeah, it's like, I don't think that's really ever gonna fade. It's kind of altered or evolved or devolved, whichever you want to call it, over the years. But for the most part, I really don't give a frack. I mean, whatever happens ends up happening. It's not like I can really do anything about it. Why worry about stuff you have no control over? um, so all of the issues that we dealt with, the both of us made a whole crap ton of mistakes, even though I'm probably sure that even to this day, she probably still will not admit it. Um, that's beside the point. Fact of the matter is, in any conflict of any kind, it always takes two to tango. Um, don't mind the little dings in the background. I better shut that up, I guess. Um, for the most part, there was some stuff that happened last year. I made a stupid mistake, as I usually tend to. Um, and I ended up fraternizing with a complete stranger, unprotected. Um, yeah, that was pretty stupid. But guy said he was clean, provided all the necessary stuff to prove that yes, he is right. Despite the fact that he was an absolute douchebag, and yeah, this I won't go into any further detail. However, that particular incident left me a little bit panicked, as a lot of you that know me well enough know I am irregular. I am not like normal clockwork. So, ooh, bile acid, not cool. Anyway, yeah. I was late, and because of the circumstances, even though he didn't technically finish inside, um, there was still that slight worry that, oh hey, I might be pregnant. But that ended up not being true. I got a little overhyped about it, um, and due to that little breakage of possible news, it was not set in stone whether I was or not. Um, my former best friend of all time decided to sit there and practically yell at me and try and lecture me, and uh finally just said fuck it, you're on your own, and poof, gone. Not that I mind. I'm actually glad she did that. First of all, I don't need part-time people in my life. Secondly, it broke what chains were left holding me to her, and those chains that were there had stunted me from the potential that I had to grow. Um, so I thank her for that. Granted, it wasn't in the best of circumstances. However, you can't help life. You can't control what other people do. That's fact of life. You try, you fail, you're gonna end up burned. Uh, to the topic at hand, this is directly to the intended individual. Um, the way you went about it was not the right way that it should have happened, first off. Secondly, I should not have reacted like I did. Um, the fact of the matter is over the last year that you have been out of my life, there has been a lot of personal growth, a lot of reflection, um, and a lot of looking back. And there's been just a lot that has bugged me. A lot. I will probably never get any answers from you for any of the questions that I have for the last decade of events that have transpired between the two of us. There's a lot of assumptions I could make, however, assume makes an ass out of you and me, as my English teacher has put it. Um, Pretty much for the most part, when I look back on it, you have always treated me like a child. You've never treated me honestly as a person that has grown, even minutely by a freaking millimeter. You have never treated me as an actual adult individual with my own personal thoughts, my own personal feelings, and my own personal opinions based on facts that I have come across. Um, Pertaining to the events that led you to just up and say F you, um, I'm still completely clean. I'm not pregnant. Um, Obviously, I don't think I'd be sitting here doing this if I had a kid, first off. That would be unfair to the kid. Um, Secondly, I don't think I would be in this dilapidated piece of shit called a house. Which I won't be for much longer, but that's a whole different story that I'll briefly touch at the very end of this. Um, Fact of the matter is, I'm not a child. There was no reason for you to treat me like I was an insignificant, inanimate object. For the most part, I feel that uh, you treated me like a yo-yo. You did not have my best interest at heart. Um, you didn't think of me as a friend, ever. Probably since about 2 years after we knew each other, probably somewhere around late 2001 when certain events that transpired between us decided to end our friendship for the very first time. Um, Ever since then, I don't think you've ever considered me a friend, and you probably felt pity and obligation to associate with me because of the difficulties of my past, the severity of those difficulties, and probably some sort of inner workings of your own for problems that you had back then. Who knows? We were young, stupid. We weren't even out of high school, so whatever. Hindsight's 2020. Um, Regardless of the fact that we were young at that point, when I'm 25 years old and you're still treating me like a child, a piece of trash, even, is what I feel. Um, the way you went about that, when I look back on the conversation, first off, it was very immature. Um, it should not have been handled the way it did on either side, mine or yours. Um, I probably shouldn't have made the post in the first place, considering I was getting too hyped up. Regardless, I can't find the right word for it, but there's a certain sense of respect and decency, first off. Secondly, a true friend, I don't know what your definition of friendship is. I don't really want to know. I don't give a flying fuck. Um, True friends, yes, they fight. There is conflict in any kind of relationship or bond a person has with another. There is no avoiding that. If there's no conflict, it's either not real or it's so perfect it's scary, and perfect is absolutely impossible. Um, that aside, they stick together through hardships. If they have issues, if they can't really tolerate it in the moment, they'll eventually come back to it later, naturally, of their own accord, and solve the issue rather than to perpetually run from the issue and have the past repeat itself over and over and over again. And it's both our faults that we didn't have the smarts to really come to that conclusion years ago. Way, way back when it probably should have happened a lot earlier. But again, hindsight's only 2020. But the fact of the matter is, I feel the need to let you know my thoughts and feelings a year and a month later, on the issue and of all the events that have transpired within the last 10, 11 years. You know, I shouldn't have confessed to you. I shouldn't have made you the center of my world for the time that I did. I shouldn't have made you someone that I looked up to, because I know this is going to sound extremely rude and mean, but first off, we are equals. You are not better than me. I am not better than you. That is a fact. And to be treated like a yo-yo and to be let go at every little thing that seemed to be inconvenient for you is a bit much, first off. Secondly, it's rude. Third, that's only another confirmation that you never actually thought of me as a friend. I held on to the belief that we were as good of friends as we were back in junior high or middle school, whatever the heck it was. I think it was junior high. Middle junior. Yeah. But when you sit there and say that you don't want to talk about the past, you don't want to think about it, blah, 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 in essence, you're pretty much running away. Not much I can do about that. That's your own personal problem. I have come to a point where I have dealt with those issues on my own terms, on my own time, on my own dime. And I have people in my life now that don't mind when I'm not a perfect, happy, bubbly ray of sunshine. I'm human just like anybody else to these people. And they matter to me on a scale that I can't even put into words. Fact of the matter is, there's a support system there. And that support system is what I have been searching for all these years. And when I was looking for it in you, I never found it. In a way, I would lie to myself saying that it was you, but it wasn't. My mistake. So I don't know your thoughts or your feelings on the matter. I probably never will, but I'm hoping this video is just a little bit of closure. I don't even really know how to say a lot of the things I'd like to, but in blunt layman's terms, as much as I still have feelings for you and probably always will, and while they're altered and not like they used to be, um, there's another side of me that if I ever saw you face to face, I would probably punch you straight in the face. Because I, even though there's a lot of mistakes that I had done, there's also a lot of mistakes that you had also done that had deeply hurt me. I will hopefully eventually be able to fully get over. Um, and hopefully obtain some closure because I'm tired of having these days where when the world seems to be falling apart around me because of the insanity of life itself, I always hold on to resentment and anger towards you, and I really don't want to. Um, I don't. I guess you could call it a mentally protective or emotionally protective measure, but though I don't want to hate you, though I don't want to hold any anger or resentment towards you, I do. That will always be a fact. That's something I will have to work on. But the way you treated me also wasn't fair. I didn't treat you fairly, you didn't treat me fairly, and that's a fact that will never change. So, you know, if I ever get a reply to this, I'll be damn surprised. But I'm not holding my breath. I have a lot of other things I'm doing with my time. I've finished with the Art Institute of Pittsburgh online division. Pretty soon I've got to find a job and start paying back. Well, no, I don't really need to find a job, but I do have student loans I will need to start paying back. I never wanted to get loans, but hey, 10 grand in tuition a freaking semester, yeah, you're gonna rack up some dough. But come February, I am going to be a full time live in babysitter for two very good friends of mine, Samantha and Rob. Rob is currently in Afghanistan. He will be coming back in February. Samantha's home with the two kids. When Rob comes, we're going to do the move after Sam and Rob have their time. I interrupted. Yeah. Regardless, and I will be getting like freaking 3 times the space I currently am in, and I will be getting away from the insanity that claims to be my mother. Um, I've abstained from violence for 5 years now. 4 years actually, because it was late 2007 when that happened. Um, but yeah, so I've learned to control and deal with my issues in other ways through other outlets. Um, I got a chance to visit my stepmom. Things are going okay despite all of the issues that Sylvia has unfortunately incurred. Um, Aside from life actually improving, I'm moving out. I'm gonna have a live-in babysitting job. I'm gonna have my own car, my own phone, my own living quarters. You know, this year has been a great big test despite the unfortunate and awkwardly dangerous encounters that I have incurred. Um, one of those dangerous encounters, the end, or rather the closure of that encounter, is actually in one of my first video blogs. I think it's the How It Is rant. Um, that was an interesting one. My life is going good. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Mentally and emotionally. Physically, not so much, but not like I can get any help from the state, obviously. I also have half a missing front tooth, and surprised I took me about probably 2 weeks to relearn how to talk. My Raynaud's has gotten worse to where I have now been diagnosed with vasovagal syncope, where I pass out at random, much like cataplexy. Um, I've had to pretty much make any space that I'm in fall proof. Uh, Luckily, at this point in time, 3 years, almost 3 years out, laughter tends to be the only trigger that really sets it off. If I laugh too extraordinarily hard, I do pass out. Just boop, down. I don't lose consciousness, but, I still lose the ability to, the motor functions in my body. Yeah. Um, Outside of that, just your basic giant boobs causing back pain, whatever. Not like I can get any help from the state, so whew. My life is going good. I'm doing this to get closure. I hope your life is good. And that you've come to a lot of closure points in your own life. I have no idea what you've been doing. I have no idea where you're at. I don't care to know. I, frankly, am better off without you. Well, I wouldn't really say that. I mean, it'd be nice to be friends again if anything could ever be rectified. However, I don't think that's possible. So I resign myself to the fact that you will now be nothing but a distant memory. I wish you well in your endeavors. Many happy years ahead of you. And may your dreams come true. So, Merry early Christmas and Happy early New Year's. And may life find you well. No,